How's everybody doing?
Good,
Oh
good.
man.
Uh,
Yeah. Any day
Chido,
above ground is a good day. So.
so good to see everybody. Happy to be here as well. Make sure I get all everybody in there.
Mhm.
So, just quick as we have people trickle in, get some viewers in here. This is a continuation in our Shine a Light Sunday series where we just take time to showcase people from our community here in Portland, especially in our Black community here in Portland. We want to just take the time to uplift different people from different walks, whether that be artists or activists, you name it. We are taking time out of our Sunday afternoons to shine a light and to uplift. And today we have the pleasure and the opportunity to bring to you guys Chido. He goes by ASAP Cheeto on Instagram. That way you can give him a follow and check out what he has going on. Just a quick introduction. My name is Elijah. Can everybody just introduce himself real quick? We'll start with Sierra.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sierra.
Hey everybody, Isaiah here.
I'm Lavella.
And I'm Shalonda.
All right. And I'm Chido.
Great, great. That is perfect. So we don't want to take too much time. We're gonna get right into questions actually. So my first question to kind of get us started off, Cheeto,
Mhm.
what was life like for you before coronavirus? So take me back to early January of this year, February, when things were so-called still normal and functioning. What was a day-to-day like for you?
Hmm. Well, let's go ahead and start with taking it back to early January. Um, to be quite honest, I would say that life for me prior to the coronavirus landing in the United States was, for lack of a better term, milk toast. Very easygoing, not super eventful. My time would be consumed with consuming the latest trends on social media, and basically just biding my time until I could go ahead and do something a little bit more impactful, do something a little bit bigger with my own life. Um, even in February, that's when I actually started. That's when I decided to go ahead and live a black owned and black produced only lifestyle. So my life just started spicing up at that time, in terms of interest. And then coronavirus hits, and then it just becomes 10 times as interesting as it was prior. So, but that was what I was doing prior to coronavirus impacting everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. So, when exactly, well, not when exactly, but what inspired you to start Project Floyd?
Good question. There's actually a bit of a story behind it, if you guys don't mind telling. If you guys don't mind me telling.
Yeah, of
This is one of my favorite stories. I always tell people this all the time. It actually started. Project Floyd started. Um, Project Floyd started when I was at a very close friend's house. It was about 2 in the morning, and we were just hanging out, playing video games, chopping it up, things that boys do. I looked at my clock or I looked at my watch, and I realized, okay, maybe it's a bit too late. I should probably start heading home. But not before I stopped by the gas station to go ahead and get some gas, right? Because I was straddling E, so I needed to go ahead and get something for my car so it could move. So upon entering the gas station, there was a young guy who looked around my age who was on his phone while he was pumping my gas. And he let me know that there was something happening in downtown Portland. And mind you, this was very late at night, past 12 o'clock. So that would make any reasonable person wonder what's going on at that time when everything is closed, and we're also in the midst of a pandemic. There shouldn't be much going on. But me being curious, I decided to go ahead and fill all the way up and then just head to downtown Portland because obviously I didn't have much to do the next day. So I got down there and then I saw the happenings of a riot, just protesters, basically just demonstrating their inner anger about what was happening with George Floyd on buildings downtown. And this was the first time I've ever experienced anything such as that. So I didn't really have a ready-made reaction. The first thing I actually thought, truthfully, was it would really suck for who has to clean all of this up, So then that's when I remembered I had a broom in my trunk, and I had janitor's coveralls, all white coveralls, because I was in the midst of starting a janitorial business at that time. So once I had that thought, and once I realized that I had the equipment in order to make an impact, that's when I went back home, got the coveralls, took my broom, and then just made an impact from there. It got a lot of positive support from people in my little community as well as people in the surrounding community. So that's when I knew that this couldn't be a one-trick pony. I had to capitalize on the momentum that I did not even know I was building. And that's where Project Floyd was born. So started May 29th, and it's just been going strong ever since. So.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
My next question is, what are you working on currently, and what would you like to work on in the future?
Well, we'll start with what I'm working on currently. Right now, what I'm working on is a feature-length film about the experience of African Americans in Portland specifically. Portland and the surrounding suburbs that comprise Portland. The inspiration that I got for that idea was looking back at my personal struggles as an African American in Portland and the things that I've gone through, as well as the protests as well as the protests that we've been seeing in our little town. So those things really made me feel like I had to amplify my voice in the best way possible. So that's currently what I'm working on right now, and it's still a work in the progress. But I know that it's going to be a very very refined and polished finished product when everything is said and done. Now on to what I'll be working on next. To be quite honest, I'm 99% 99% sure of what I'm going to be working on next. Not to give it away too much, but one thing I will say about my next project, Project 3, it is going to, how can I say this without giving this away? Oh my God, wow. I should have prepared for this better. It will definitely be international. Let's just go ahead and say that. One thing that I've always kept in mind when I started the string of projects that I have is that they will always and unfailingly have to be bigger than the last project. My goal is not only to create a community-wide impact, an impact that can be felt and seen and is tangible, but something that would dwarf the prior project. So in my personal opinion, it's almost like you haven't really done anything unless if it's big on a big scale. And luckily, the personality that I have happens to complement that type of thinking very well. So Project 3 will be very international based, and that's all I'll say for now. So
Somebody in the comments said, just give it to us. Just tell us
man,
what it is.
as much as I'd love to, because I do tend to have a big mouth sometimes, I can't on this one.
Don't keep it under. Okay, it's
I
fine.
got to.
We'll wait. We'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
we'll be looking forward to continuing to hear those audience questions and to
Yeah.
figuring out ways. Cheeto will definitely be telling us ways where you guys can get involved and support him moving forward, so you can find out about more of those projects as well.
Mm, there you
Yes.
go.
Yes, definitely.
You already kind of answered this question, but have you found a lot of support from the community? And then like specifically, like what about the Black community?
Wow. Now that question I love a lot, actually. The community as a whole, yes. Uh, I, I, I'm trying to think. One, two, three, three of my projects have landed on KGW, and they've, which is the local news for people in the comments. There has been an outpour of positive support on there, and that is that's kind of like the fuel that keeps Project Floyd humming, you know. And I have gotten a lot of positive support from the community. I would say the Black community as well, although the support from people who aren't African Americans but are also in the community has been like, it's been more of them just due to sheer size. But in total, yes, it's been a lot of support for my initiative that I'm spearheading right now. So
Yeah, that's awesome. We love that. I think Isaiah, you had the next question.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just gonna say, like, given how you had, all that support, what would be on the flip side? What are some of like your biggest obstacles as you've been working with Project Floyd, and as you continue? What do you think, some of your biggest obstacles might be?
wow. I will go ahead and start with obstacle number one, and that is my own impatience. I'll be quite honest with the personality that I have. I like to break off really big projects, things that can be seen and heard and felt. But sometimes behind the scenes, I'll be like, I want this to move faster. I want this to get done, faster, better, this, that. But oftentimes, one thing that I'll have to do in order to reel myself in is realize that things that are worth doing do not come overnight. As that famous statement, Rome was not built in a day. That's something that I resonate with very, that's something I really, really resonate with, because it's that one piece of advice that has me realizing, okay, slow down. What you want to do is something that everybody is eventually going to, love and respect and accept. But if you want that project to be something that can be loved, respected, and accepted, it has to be done with love. And oftentimes that means really taking your time on it. So that is definitely obstacle number one. Obstacle number two, seeing as though I'm not a nonprofit, I'm not um, an official organization. I'm very what you'd call grassroots, very or organic, as I'd like to go ahead and dub it. With that, securing support can sometimes be a challenge due to the fact that there's no official status to what I am doing. So oftentimes I have to rely on my social skills in order to curry the favor of people who have equipment or who have expertise or who have knowledge that would directly lend itself towards making a very good project. So those are definitely obstacles that I run into every single time I try and do a project that I think is worthwhile. My own impatience and trying to get the right people to assist with implementing something on such a large scale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think like if you already have recognized, your biggest obstacles, and if you already think about what your obstacles are to come, then it just kind of makes it that much easier. And,
Yes.
as you stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. definitely it's good to recognize like your battles. So, and even the battles with yourself, your own, you saying your own patience, like that's something you can work on. And like,
Yeah.
instead of being like, it's always the outside forces, but like, it's something that
Right.
you can make it, better for yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, I do really agree with your statement. Just to piggyback on that, I think the mark of a true leader is somebody that has no problem pointing internally rather than externally. Because just like you said, it's very easy to point fingers at external forces, but at the end of the day, if there's a decision to be made, you will be the one that will be making it. So you would have to resonate with the consequences or the positive proceedings that would come from that action. So I really like what you said.
Okay. Yes, I agree with all
Yeah.
of that. And you mentioned earlier you won't share more information with us about your project, but you mentioned that it has the first project or the second. The second
Yes.
project has
Yeah.
to do with a film that you're going to work on that's
Yes.
sharing information about being Black in Portland, in Oregon. And
Yes.
um, is there a reason you mentioned because your experience being Black?
Yeah.
Have you ever been racially profiled here in Oregon? Like, give us a little bit about your experience being Black here.
Ooh, I was waiting for this question. Oh man, it's time to spill some tea. Okay. Wow. Let me go ahead and think back at the several times that I have been in a situation like that. First off, before I go ahead and share with you all, including the people who are watching from home, the racism that I've experienced in Portland, growing up in Portland, very few instances have been overt, but several of the instances that I have experienced have been covert. So, one word that would be able to describe that would be microaggressions. Things that on the surface may seem harmless, but when you peel back the layers, you see the true intent. You see just how harmful that is. And but anyways, to continue with the question, man, what I'm just thinking about the times that I have been racially, profiled or discriminated. I can remember instances back to when I was going to a magnet school. I think it was a magnet or a charter school. Either way, it's basically it's a school that has very few Black people. So I remember times like that when I was in I want to say second to third grade. I would remember people wanting to touch my hair, people, making assumptions on me, making assumptions about me based on my name and how I dress. And mind you, my name is Chido, so that's not a typical African American name. As a matter of fact, it's a typical Nigerian name. So racial or they're not racial slurs, but things like, oh, so do people live in huts in Africa? And what is Africa like? Do you hunt like wildlife with spears? And do you wear loincloths? Things like that. Since very young, I've had to deal with, and oftentimes my method of dealing with it was to just internalize it, or to brush it off, or maybe think that there's something wrong with the way I was receiving that message, even though the person who was delivering that message was truly at fault. So that was just some of my experiences. Shall I keep going? Shall I dive into more
Is
like
there is
detailed
there
cases?
anything that you would say has been specifically kind of as you've been dealing with Project Floyd or
Yeah.
the Ockley Green Middle School project that you are working on? Any of those things, have you been met with any challenges or people maybe having, slightly different agendas or opposed to what you're trying to see produced,
Oh,
specifically like with the work that you're doing? Have you been
uh-huh.
met with some of those opposing challenges, would you say?
Yes, actually. I do have a very specific instance that always comes to mind. If you guys would allow me to share that.
Please.
Okay.
That's what the platform
Um,
is for.
Good. This particular moment blew me away, even though I reacted the same way as I did when I was a young third grader when people were saying the things that they were saying to me. So to answer your question, there was a man that I met with who owns a cleaning business, I think, in the outer Portland metro area. So Beaverton, Tigard-ish. I'm really good friends with his daughter. His daughter actually introduced me to him. And I remember when I mentioned to you guys that Project Floyd started at around the same time that I was starting to build up my janitorial business. So this man wanted to go ahead and pick my brain and see how I got where I wanted to get to. And at first I was thinking that this was just going to be a very simple networking meeting, over some food. We would talk about what my goals are, what I plan on doing after, and how I plan on growing my cleaning business, right? Very harmless conversation. But what proceeded to happen, it left me angry and bewildered. The one point, the one point in that conversation that really had me angry and bewildered was when we spoke about my alma mater, Gresham High School, high school I used to go to. He asked me, where did you go to school? And I said, Gresham High School. And I mentioned that they were previously named the Berry Pickers, as opposed to what they're named now, which is the Gophers. And this was way back in the day. So what happened after that was very interesting. He said, "Oh, berry pickers. Well, um, since you're black, it would have been the cotton pickers." And he thought that was a really fun. He thought that was a really funny joke. Like he was laughing heartily, as if that was, hilarious. And
Like he was real clever and had just came up with something that like, oh yeah, Chido will think this is funny.
exactly. And his daughter over there, bless her heart, but his daughter was like, no, 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 don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. And then when it slipped out, she was just like, oh, God damn it. She gave me the I tried look. And um, I didn't know, I didn't really know how to react after that. It was mightily embarrassing because there was actually another black man within earshot of that. And as he let that slip out of his mouth, I was kind of just looking like, what do I do in this situation? I know I can't put my hands on this man in public because that is not good right now. So I think I'm just going to have to take this in stride. And it was especially painful doing that because me and the man that was within earshot, who was also black, made eye contact. And it's just, like that telepathy that, my guy, you really should.
Like you gonna handle this?
Yeah, he gave me that, but you really should, right now. And I was like, I can't do this. I have too much going for me right now. With the times that we're in, if I were to just clock this man, it would not look good for me. So I had to just take that in, and I had to address her daughter about that situation over text afterwards because that was something that didn't sit too well with me. But that's just one of the instances that I've gotten from this, and oddly, it was more fuel to the ever-growing fire, which is Project Floyd, to go ahead and continue to make more impacts. Oftentimes people can take things like that, and that can really, that could take that could take the wind out of the sails of any man wanting to do what they're doing. But I realized that, you're going to have to go ahead and take this lump of coal that this man tried to give you and turn it into fuel, because that's all you can do at this point. So, but that's just one time that I experienced something like that during my,
And to think that with all the work you're doing, somehow still that's the route that someone would take. Um, and even in the midst of, the conversations that you're having about projects and businesses and being your
Right.
own business owner and
Hmm.
future, just the list goes on of all the positive, superlatives that we could use, but instead that's
Hmm.
where the conversation ends up. So, but just to kind of piggyback off of that and on to our next, kind of to wrap it up, where do you see your aspirations taking you? Where in the future, maybe maybe big picture, big dreams, 5, 10 years from now, even some of these projects that have started on the local level. We know you're speaking future projects international, but what is the impact or overall, what would your success story look like for Portland and just things to come down the road?
Man, um, I would say that 5, 10 years down the line, I truly see Project Floyd being remembered through its actions rather than just the name alone. Um, I, I have very big plans to go ahead and impact as many people as possible, and to I guess to be one of the people that that is responsible for the transformation for the better of a community of marginalized people, whether they're African American, whether they're Asian American, yellow, white, blue, green, whatever color you are. The impacts that I would like to make through Project Floyd, I want them to be everlasting and to be recognized in the community and to be celebrated, because one thing I like to say is to do good things for people costs $0. It costs zero effort. It costs zero time out of your day. It's man, it's something that I feel more people should really take advantage of. Help people who need help, help where you can, and especially one thing that's important about that, don't expect anything in return. You have to have a certain type of character, a certain type of heart, I think, to be somebody that can truly just give unselfishly, and as I want to say, how a success story would look like. If I could paint a picture right now of how a success story would look like from a boy from Portland, it would look like somebody who is to unafraid to cross that line, in terms of conformity, being somebody that is just unabashed in their efforts to make an impact, somebody who's not afraid of the backlash and instead uses the criticisms and the hate and the prejudice even, and turns it into something that fuels their passion to keep moving. That's what a success story truly looks like to me, because um, many success stories oftentimes start with fighting a battle uphill. And Project Floyd, on the outside, it may appear as if things kind of just fell in place, but it took a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of effort, and a lot of perseverance, and with, like I said before, with somebody who is more on the impatient side when it comes to making impacts, it took a lot of introspection and self-navigation, so a, a success story would definitely look like somebody who's able to conquer their inner distractions, conquer the outside distractions, and to deliver under pressure and under high expectations. That's what a success story looks like to me.
Man, that's beautiful. Honestly, we gonna leave it right there. Tell the people just where they can find you, how they can support you
Mm,
moving
yeah.
forward.
Yes.
Yeah, anything that you may need from the community, how can we help you? Because World Stage Theater definitely looks forward to seeing ways that we can partner with ASAP, Chido
Mm,
here in the future, and to work on projects. One of your filming project goes right in line with our growing up black in Oregon. So we're right in line with some of the things that you have going on. But how can the people support you moving forward?
You know what? The best way that people can support me is by just, I'm going to go ahead and just sound like a regular millennial on this one. My social media page, Instagram is the primary mode of contact for me in terms of social media. So you can go ahead and follow me there. I'm literally on there 24 hours. So I will see your message, whether the green dot is flashing that I'm live or not. So one thing that I said one thing that I said before, is that the positive support that comes from my community, regardless of skin color, is enough to keep Project Floyd running and running well. But the more outpour of approval and support from people who share the same hue as I do, that's something that'll turn this V6 engine into a V12 very quick. Because one thing I like to think is that I represent more than just myself. I represent people who share the same experiences as I do, who share the same color as I do, who have shared the same trials and tribulations as I do in terms of just getting something that could be monumental off the ground. So to see the following grow from what I have now to what it may be, if people would like to go ahead and follow my social media page, that's something that would really truly build that confidence, so I can do even bigger things that I know will impact not just the colored community, but also the community as a whole. So that's one thing you could do. Also, if there's projects that you have, um, please don't be afraid of letting me know about things like that, because I truly like to collaborate with other creatives. I like to get in different spaces, which is part of the reason why I don't have an organization. You know, I'm somebody that's a bit of a chameleon, if I could go ahead and say that. I like to blend in different scenes in different places, because, you know, if you were to shoot a 3-point shot from the top of the key every single time, eventually somebody would be able to come and swat you down. So I like to be able to be in different places sometimes. So, you know, there's nothing that I'm totally closed off to, as long as we can go ahead and achieve a result that can impact the community on a large scale. So those are the two things you could definitely do.
Well, thank you. Thank you again so much. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. And for everybody that's out there and has viewed us, we will be back next Sunday again for our next Shine a Light artist or guest. We appreciate you, Chido. We look forward to supporting you here in the future with all your projects to come. Definitely be on the lookout for different opportunities that we have to help each other and lift each other up. Thank you guys for joining in with us, tapping in today, and everybody have a blessed rest of your Sunday. Thank you.